I was going through YouTube the other day and I was looking for a video that would fit kind of the theme I had for last week and the podcast and all that. And I came across something that I just couldn't pass up.
Today, we are talking about sex.
Wow. Dear Lord, what does that remind me of? Oh, wait, I know.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
When you got a Riley clip, you know it's going to be good. So let's see what this is all about.
So if you don't want to hear me talk about sex, this is probably not the video for you.
Oh, but we do want to hear you talk about sex. In fact...
Let's talk about sex, baby.
If you want to learn about some ways that trans lesbians can have sex, you've come to the right place.
Oh, that's right. This dipshit thinks he's a trans lesbian. Yeah, that's kind of not how it works there, buddy.
Right.
Now, sex. Sex. Where were we?
And there's no sex ed for trans people. The sex education that most people get in school is very cis-normative and it's very heteronormative, which is the opposite of the audience that I'm addressing today, which is likely very gay and very trans.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
So this is where it gets interesting. So you're trying to say that sex is different because you're trans.
So sex ed isn't helpful for a lot of people. If you're not cisgender and straight, it doesn't really tell you about all the ways you can have sex.
It seems that Riley didn't get the birds and the bees discussion with his father/mother, depending on which way the apple falls.
Well, had I got as far as the penis entering the vagina?
So a lot of people who aren't cis or aren't straight turn to the internet for sex ed. And there's definitely resources out there for cis gay people, cis lesbian people, cis bisexual people. There's not like a ton of resources, but that information does exist. And that's amazing. There definitely needs to be sex education for cis queer people.
Why don't you stay for the night? Or maybe a bite. I could show you my favorite obsession.
I'm sorry, were you saying something? Couldn't help but notice that Tim Curry pulls it off better than you.
There's really not a lot of resources out there for trans people, especially trans people who aren't straight. But I'm very gay.
Wait, you're what?
I'm very gay.
Come again? Riley, and I'm being sincere here. You are a guy with a penis who likes women. That would make you straight by the definition of the terms. Not gay. By all intents and purposes, then every straight cis male, as you put it, cisgendered, is also a lesbian. I am a lesbian now because I have a penis and I prefer women. And sometimes I wear a kilt.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
And so that's not very useful to me. So I want to be that resource for you, hopefully. Because most of the time when people think of lesbian sex, it's between two cis women. But lesbian sex can also happen between two trans women. It can happen between a trans woman and a cis woman. It can happen between a non-binary person and a woman. And the experience of trans women and non-binary people who have penises is a lot different than the experience of trans women who have vaginas.
So the experience of the male sticking the penis into the vagina is different than the experience of the female having the penis inserted into the vagina? Who would have thought? Wow, did you learn that in basic biology?
Lots of trans women never have genital reconstruction surgery. It's very expensive, it can be risky and painful and requires taking a lot of time off work, and some people just don't want it. So for whatever reason, if you consider yourself pre-op or non-op, or if you're just a trans woman or a non-binary person with a penis, I hope this can be helpful for you. Sorry, I feel like that was a super long intro, but I feel like this needed a lot of explaining. Oh, and I have one more disclaimer, and that's that not everyone has sex the same way. So the ways that I'm gonna talk about having sex might not be the ways that you wanna have sex. Everybody's experience is different, and everybody likes different things.
Well, you're right there. Everybody likes different things. Everybody experiences it differently. People like to do different things in the bedroom as well. That is not a unique revelation. Have you read the Kama Sutra? Pretty sure there's some freaky people in India.
Alright, so the first major thing I want to talk about is that it's important to remember that sex isn't just penis in vagina.
Well, had I got as far as the penis entering the vagina?
You are partially right here, Riley. Sex is not defined by the penis entering the vagina. If you were to bother to open up the dictionary and, I don't know, read English, you would know that this is not the way it's defined in current terms. So you are partially correct. But since 90% of the human species has sex in the same manner, not to mention 90% of most other mammalian species also do have sex in the same manner, it's pretty sure that we're going to discuss the penis entering the vagina because it is the most normal way to have sex. But there are other ways, and we all know those other ways. But I'm cutting you off because I'm not going to get into it, but I just wanted to point out that at least you had a point here, that there is gay sex, there is lesbian sex. Since you're still attached to your penis, you're in the man versus woman since you like women. That does not make you lesbian, by the way.
Well, had I done foreplay?
Okay, so the second big thing that I want to go over is that you should use toys.
Didn't you just get through saying this?
Not everyone has sex the same way.
Well, if everybody does it in a different way, why are you telling me to use toys? What if I don't want to? What if my wife doesn't want to? Who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do?
Okay, so like the third major tip that I have for you is anal. Not everyone has sex the same way.
If your partner is willing, then do whatever the hell you want. Because you did say everybody has sex in their own way, but then you go on to recommend something that maybe some people aren't comfortable with? You're a genius.
Okay, my fourth tip doesn't really have any toys associated with it, but it's basically to focus on other body parts.
Well, had I done foreplay?
He gets into this bigger rant about certain things not being qualified as masturbation while other things are, and junk and whatnot. Again, Karma Sutra and...
Not everyone has sex the same way. Alright, and the fifth and final thing I want to talk about is you should try experimenting with different things. Not everyone has sex the same way.
Not everyone has sex the same way.
This video is absolute cancer. I don't know why I started off with it in the first place, but it's been entertaining nonetheless. 5 things, 3 of them are the same thing.
I'm warning you. I may decide to set an exam this term.
And this video was sponsored. But that was probably a really bad idea by the sponsors, if you want to take a look at this. But, thank you, Riley, for entertaining us. Let us know when you actually become a female. Then maybe I'll start calling you her. For right now, this is all you are.
I'm just a sweet transvestite transsexual Transylvania.
So, come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation.
But maybe the rain
Is really to blame. So I'll remove the cause. But not the symptom.